All right, we are present in case 25 CR 000005, State of Ohio versus Davion Davis. We're here for a probable cause hearing on the state's motion to terminate community control sanctions. Defendant has been charged with the original violation plus some addendums for a total of 4 separate violations. As I said, we're scheduled for a probable cause hearing. He's here in open court. It's with his attorney, Mr. William Watson. Mr. Watson, what is the defendant's intention at this time regarding the probable cause hearing?
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court, in discussing this with Mr. Davis, he is prepared this morning to not only waive his probable cause hearing, but also waive his final hearing, plead guilty to the violations, and proceed straight to sentencing, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis, you've been charged with violating the conditions of your community control sanctions. Specifically, there are 4 alleged violations you committed. The first is a Rule 8 violation, which prohibits you from using, possessing, or having under your control any controlled substance not prescribed to you by a licensed physician. And it's alleged that on April 7th, the first day that you reported to your probation officer, you tested positive for marijuana. The next violation is a Rule 3 violation, which requires you to report to your probation officer at times and places as directed by your PO, and you failed to report on April 15th, April 28th, and never reported after the first time you ever reported, quite frankly. The third violation is a Rule 11 violation, which requires you to comply with all special conditions set forth by the court, and you're specifically ordered under Condition 5 to enter, complete the Decision Point program, and you failed to attend the Decision Point program on December 14th and on April 14th and April 28th, and thereafter. And the last violation is another Rule 8 violation. When you were arrested on May 16th, you submitted reluctantly a urine sample that tested positive for marijuana. Now, you have the right to have a couple hearings regarding these allegations. The first is what's called a probable cause hearing, which is a hearing where the state would be required to present some evidence that would suggest you probably committed these violations. The second hearing is what's called a hearing on the merits, final hearing, and that's a hearing where the state would have to present and prove the actual merits of what they're alleging. Now, you could have either or both of these hearings, but you could also waive both hearings and plead guilty. And your attorney has indicated he believes that's what you want to do. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Before I can accept your waiver and your plea, I need to make sure you understand the potential consequences you face if you are found to be in violation of your community control sanctions. If, in fact, that were to occur, this court could extend your probation up to 5 years. I can impose more restrictive sanctions against you, including an order that you serve more time in our Lake County jail, or I could terminate your probation and send you to prison. And if I did that, it could be anywhere from 6 to 18 months in prison. You understand the potential penalties you face if you're found to be in violation of your community control sanctions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, having been so advised, what do you want to do at this time? Do you want to have the final hearing, or the probable cause hearing or final hearing, or do you want to waive both hearings and plead guilty to the violation?
Waive both hearings, Your Honor.
Very well. As to the allegation, the first allegation of violating Rule 8 for testing positive for marijuana on April 7th, what is your plea to that?
Guilty.
As for the allegation you violated Rule 3 by failing to report to your probation officer after April 7th, what is your plea to that?
Guilty.
As for the allegation you violated Rule 11, Condition 5 by not attending the Decision Point program after the first time, what is your plea to that?
Guilty.
And as for the allegation you violated Rule 8 again by using marijuana and testing positive when you were arrested on May 16th, what is your plea to that?
Guilty.
All right, the court will accept your pleas of guilty, find that you did violate your community control sanctions. Mr. Watson, any reason not to go forward with sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
Anything you want to say on behalf of your client?
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court, I'll be brief. In speaking with Mr. Davis, he's a young man who obviously has made some poor choices, at least on its face, by not only continuing to smoke marijuana, but probably more importantly, just blowing off probation, right when he was put on it, no less. However, in talking with him, and none of this is an excuse, none of this is, of course, a defense to this, but Mr. Davis explained to me that he's working as a landscaper, so he does have a job. Part of what was ordered, I believe, by this court was that he needed to clear up. There were some warrants, I believe for traffic offenses, but there were some warrants out of municipal courts.
No, one was a CCW and one was a traffic offense.
And he owed money out of Parma. He's on a payment plan through Parma. He's on a payment plan through Warrensville Heights. I don't know if that's through their mayor's court. But so he went out and got an SR-22 bond. These were things that he needed to take care of in order to obtain his license. A large part of the problem, Mr. Davis.
How do we know any of this?
Well, Your Honor, again, this is what Mr. Davis has expressed to me, so I'm here empty-handed.
That's what the purpose
with
of
the court.
probation is, and having a probation officer, that you show this stuff to the probation officer and show that you're doing what you're supposed to do. That's what we have. That's what you're on probation for. It's what you have a supervisor for and a probation officer for. If we didn't, if we're just going to take defendants for their word and said, "Oh, I did A, B, C, and D that you ordered me to do," we don't need probation officers. We can let go of the whole department. We don't need them. We'll just listen to you guys. But that doesn't work too well when we do that.
Well, I agree with the court, which is why I said none of this is a defense or an excuse, but Mr. Davis was attempting to get some things in order. He should not have done what he did and blow off the probation department and essentially blow off this court. But I'm asking this court to consider continuing him on community control sanctions. You're going to hear in a moment from Mr. Davis. I think he's very remorseful. I think due to his young age, he's explained to me he's totally on his own. He's been attempting to do what he needs to do, and again, he just made some poor choices. I'm hoping the court will take these factors into consideration. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis, you have the right to address the court before you're sentenced. You can say anything you want. Is there anything you want to say at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. I know that you was basically saying that I was supposed to get in contact and tell my PO everything. Mind you, that he was not answering the phone. I left messages.
That's not reporting. Phone calls aren't reporting. Showing up to your probation officer is what's required. It's specifically in the rules. Phone call doesn't substitute for a... So I don't want to hear that it's his fault because he didn't answer phone calls. That's exactly what you said.
I'm just saying that he didn't answer the phone just so I can tell him what was actually going on with everything I was doing.
That's not how probation works. It doesn't work over the phone, and you were specifically told that. You report to your probation officer. You don't pick up a phone and say, "Oh, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing."
I'm not saying that, Your Honor. I'm just saying basically if I did come and did see him and then I reported it, I'm just saying just in the time period of my time of me just doing the things that I'm doing, that I was trying to let him know that I was doing these things. I'm not saying that I was not trying to come here and not tell him that face to face. I'm just saying that in the time periods of me while I was doing these things, I was trying to call and let him know that I have these things done and I'm doing everything that I can so I wouldn't get violated. And it wasn't, like I was saying, he wasn't answering the phone.
Doing smoking marijuana, is that what you were doing to not get violated?
No.
Smoke marijuana, what, the day you got out of jail? Something right around there.
Like I said, Your Honor, I know I was wrong. I could take the plea of me smoking. Like I said before, I got shot in my main artery where that's why I had got a medical card and that's why I actually smoked.
So this is going to be a problem if you stay on probation? Because I said you're not going to use it.
No, it's not a problem, Your Honor. I promise you it's not. It's just the fact that, like I said I'll take the possible cause of me smoking, and I'm truly sorry for even, being around smoke or even smoking. Like I said, I'm handling the business that you even told me to take care of. I'm staying out of trouble. I'm taking care of everything that I need to do. I'm not trying to be in jail. I'm not trying to be the guy to frame that's on the computer.
You went to your probation officer one time. You got out of jail, you reported once, and we never saw you again. And you use this excuse, and I get a letter from your employer saying you got tied up at work and you couldn't get there.
That's not an excuse. That's what actually
happened.
That was the only
For that day. Where were you for the next month and a half?
He told me to come.
Where were you for the next month and a half?
I'm trying to explain to you, sir. I don't want to argue with you or go back and forth with you. I'm telling you exactly what's going on. Before that, when I called my PO, he exactly word from word said, just show up at court on the 15th. And you can ask my girl. I had him on speaker.
You weren't even violated.
But that's what I'm saying. He said, show up to court. I never knew that I had to still come here.
Well, then probation's not going to work for you because you can't follow simple rules apparently.
Yes, why can't I? Yes, I can, Your Honor.
Well, you told me when you were here last time. I specifically wrote it down here. Let me see. Something about your word. Your word is gold or something like that.
I never said my word was.
Claim that you're worthy of your word.
I am.
You are not.
I am.
You haven't shown that.
I am. I really.
Why didn't you never reported to your probation officer? One time and you disappeared.
No, it's not that I disappeared. When I called my PO and he said show up to court just show up to court. That's all he said.
Show up to court when?
The day I had the court on Friday. That was when I came.
What's he talking about?
That was the failure to report hearing, Your Honor.
Right. That's when he said. He said show up to court, and that was the end of the conversation. He never said keep coming here to show up to your classes or any of that. I didn't know.
That was May 15th.
But Your Honor, you're not understanding.
I'm understanding everything. You were supposed to show up on April 6th. You didn't show up. Was it on weekly reporting?
He was supposed to show up every Monday for decision.
Supposed to show up every Monday for decision points. Every Monday for
But when
decision
I
points.
called-
Every Monday. Let me finish. For decision points starting April 6th. You didn't show up You showed up April 6th and tested positive. Let's be honest. That's why you never showed up. We all know that.
No.
You knew you tested positive for marijuana. You knew there was going to be a warrant issued for your arrest,
No,
and that's why you weren't
that's
showing
not-
up.
That's not the truth. That's not the truth.
Well, then you didn't show up
That's
on
not the truth,
April
Your Honor.
14th, April 21st, April
You're
28th.
trying to label me as a bad person when I'm not like that, Your Honor.
Why didn't you ever show up to probation at the beginning? That was May 15th.
That's what I'm trying to say. He said show up to court. That was the end of the conversation on the phone. Was that not, Derek? That was the last thing that he ever said to me on the phone was show up to court. He never said keep coming to your classes and coming to see me.
When did he tell you that?
I didn't know. He did not say that.
You were supposed to show up every week. You were told that when you first got out of jail. Why didn't you show up the second week?
Because I was working, Your Honor.
Okay, well, you were supposed to be there. Why didn't you show up the next week? You didn't have that conversation with him yet because there was no hearing scheduled at that
Because
point.
I did call him. I did tell him why I didn't show up.
For the first time. What about the next two times?
I came. The first two, the reason, first of all, the first thing we were talking about a month. What happened to the 2 days of me coming? I came here on this, I don't know what day that was, but I came here and I even got the evidence of me coming here on the lift.
Why wouldn't you have gone and seen them?
Because I told him that I forgot to come see him.
Finish what you want to say.
I even showed up here, like, man, I don't know what you want me to say, Your Honor.
I want you to be truthful.
I am being truthful. I'm being truthful
I want you to be worthy of your word. That's what you said.
I am worthy of my word. What I'm telling you right now is the truth. I'm not making up no excuse at all. I'm not making up nothing I'm saying. Everything that I'm saying is the truth. You thinking I skipped the classes because I was smoking. I'm not an addiction of nothing at all. I smoke because I have a bullet in my womb and my main artery. My main artery. That's the whole reason why I have a physical card. I missed my 2 days. I have a plausible cause of why I missed my boss. That's the only person that was actually bringing me up to Painesville. That I only have the only person that's actually helping me bringing me up here. The second time I came, I just forgot to see him. That's how I found out that I missed my classes. I didn't even told him that.
How do you forget to go see your probation officer? You're here.
Because I was here for a lift. I had a lift outside waiting for me, Your Honor. I had no way other back home. That was my only ride back home. And then when I was leaving this facility of me seeing him, I even called him and was trying to get in contact with Derek, myself.
Phone calls do not substitute for reporting.
But it's not like that I'm not trying, like, I don't understand I'm not, you act like I'm just not trying to do the right thing, though. That's
You are.
I
You show
am.
up. You showed up one time. One time you showed up and you haven't been seen since. It's Derek's fault, though.
I never said it was his fault. I never said that. I never said that.
We didn't. When did we schedule this? We didn't schedule this. This hearing until April 29th, right?
Okay.
So you were supposed to report. You reported April 6th and tested positive for marijuana. You didn't show up the next week. You didn't show up the next week, and you didn't show up the next week. That's when the hearing got set after that.
Because what you mean my hearing got sent after that?
The hearing for the May 16th hearing.
He wrote on paper that I was not seeing him for weeks when I was coming up there talking to Derek. That doesn't even make sense.
You were coming up there talking to Derek?
I was talking to him on the phone. That's how I even found out I had court on Friday.
Because Talking on the phone is not reporting. Why can't you
Talking
get...
about, you keep saying next week when I only missed 2 weeks, Your Honor.
Yeah, why did you miss 2 weeks?
Because I was working and I was trying to get
Well,
everything
apparently,
taken
if
care
working
of.
is your priority versus probation,
It's not
probation's
that.
not going
I'm
to work for
handling
you.
what you told me to do, though. That's what you're not understanding.
No, I told you to report to your probation officer.
And I will still handle, and you told me to handle other things too with
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's what I was doing.
No, you weren't doing it all. You have to do it. You don't pick and choose what you're going to do.
I'm not picking and choosing.
You didn't report to your probation officer.
But you act
picked
like
that.
I'm not trying to do the right thing, Your Honor.
Do you have anything else you want to say? Is there anything else you want to say?
Like I said, Your Honor, I'm sorry for even being back in your face. I don't want to make you angry or wherever the case may be, but I'm trying. Like I said, I'm by myself. I'm doing everything on my own. All I'm asking is for another chance. I can do the probation. This is not hard for me. That's all I'm asking for. It's not hard. I have somebody that can bring me up here every week now. Everything. I just got paid to the point where I can make it every week. I'm trying. I don't want to be in jail. I have an actual life.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Watson, anything else you want the court to consider?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
I've reviewed the pre-sentence report investigation. I've considered the facts and circumstances of the underlying offense, the nature of that offense. I've considered everything that's been said here today. I've considered the defendant's performance or lack thereof on probation. All this is considered by the court in light of the purposes and principles of felony sentencing set forth in 2911, the revised code. How much credit is there in this case?
108 total, 13 of the PV. Your Honor.
108?
Yes, sir.
As for the factors in 2912, I'll incorporate all the findings I've made regarding the seriousness factors and the recidivism factors with the additional finding that the defendant has failed to comply with the previously imposed sanctions ordered by the court, which is a factor indicating recidivism is more likely. In determining what the proper sentence is here, I got to decide whether this defendant's amenable to community control sanctions, and it means that he's able and willing to follow the rules of probation. And he reported one time and never was seen since, but he
Please, Your Honor.
he takes all, he blames everybody else.
I'm not blaming nobody. I'm not.
He's making the decisions, which rules he's going to follow, which rules he's not going to follow, what's more important, what's less important. There's not going to be excuses for not reporting or not doing things that you're supposed to do. You're not going to get letters from your boss or phone calls from your boss trying to justify why you're not complying with the conditions of your probation. You need to comply with the conditions of your probation. And if that includes reporting, and you can't report with the job you have, then you need to get another job.
It's not that, Your Honor.
I'm not asking you questions right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Probation is your priority. And we're not going to just take your word for it. Your word to us is you're not worthy of it right now. You have to earn that. You have to earn that, and you haven't earned that yet. Hope you do, but you haven't earned it yet. So that's why we have probation officers who monitor and supervise you and determine whether you're actually doing the things you're supposed to do. Again, like I said before, if we were just going to take the word of it from the people, everybody on probation that, oh yeah, I'm going to my AA meetings, oh yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to doing, oh yeah, I'm not smoking weed or using drugs, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, oh okay, we believe you, we don't need a probation department. How well do you think that would work? That wouldn't work. That's why there's probation officers who supervise the caseload and who are there to help you, believe it or not. You may not agree with that or may think that's not the case and they're out to get you. That's not what they're there for. They're there to help you. And if they get somebody on probation with them that shows a true interest, a genuine interest in wanting to improve themselves and wanting to get better, they're going to do everything they can to work with that person. But if they have someone that's just blowing them off and calling up and not coming and having excuses why they're not doing this stuff, they're not going to waste their time because there's plenty of people on probation that need help and want help, and they're going to devote their efforts towards those folks. So you got to decide which person you want to be on probation. So I don't know if you're amenable to probation or not. Your conduct at this point is showing you're not. But you certainly need some help with your thinking. So I'm going to give you one chance, but you're going to get some help with your thinking. I'm going to continue. I'm going to find at this point you're amenable. I don't know how to make that finding, but I will. and that prison is not consistent with the purposes and principles of sentencing, I'm going to extend your probation by 2 months because this past 2 months you haven't been on probation, basically. So probation is extended for 2 months for a total of 2 years and 2 months. I'm going to order that you serve 60 days in jail. You have credit for 13. I'm going to order that upon a bed becoming available at NeoCap that you be released from jail, and that should be within a few weeks, several weeks. So we won't have to do the full 60 days here. But once a bed's available, you'll be released from the jail. Any balance of jail sentence is vacated. You're to enter and successfully complete the program at NeoCap and follow all of their aftercare recommendations. After you complete NeoCap, you're going to be ordered at this time, you're probably not going to have to do this, but you'll be ordered to go back to jail for 30 days in the Transitional Day Reporting Program. Again, you very well may not have to do those 30 days, but Transitional Reporting Program is a program that helps people make the transition from being locked up to being on their own. Many people, when they get out of jail or custody, have nowhere to go. They don't have housing set up, they don't have work set up, and this program helps them get that lined up. But if you have that all lined up when you're done with the program, I'll vacate those 30 days, you won't have to do it. But it's a nice program to have in place for people that need that assistance, so I give it to everybody. And your probation officer will let me know that he's got housing set up, work set up, and he doesn't need that. He'll let me know that before that gets to that point, if that's the case. The other conditions of your probation are going to be the same that they were. You're not to use any drugs or alcohol, including no marijuana. You're to submit random urine screens. They must be negative. Positive screen for anything will be a violation. You're not to possess or own any firearms. You're to get a drug and alcohol evaluation and follow whatever recommendations are made. You don't have to do decision points because that's going to be covered at NeoCap. You're to obtain and maintain full-time employment, education, or some combination of the two. I don't know what the status of the outstanding warrants are, but you need to clear those up if they're not. If there are, then you're taking care of that. But you need to establish or provide some proof of that if they have been cleared up. If not, you need to clear those up. I want you to obtain your driver's license, pay your court costs and supervision fees. Derek, is there anything else I'm missing here I should consider?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Davis, you understand all the conditions of your continued probation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
I need to advise you that if you fail to comply with any of these conditions, any of the rules of probation, if you leave Ohio without permission from the court, or if you commit another crime, another motion to terminate your community control sanctions will be filed. If it's found that you violated, I could extend your probation up to 5 years. I can impose more restrictive sanctions against you, as I did today, including jail time, or I could terminate your probation and send you to prison. If I did that, it would be 18 months in prison, and that would be consecutive to any other sentence you may be serving at that time or that you're being sentenced for at that time. Mr. Watson, is there anything else for the record?
Nothing further, Your Honor.